What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And we got a lot of things that we need to talk about, particularly the Big 12. I always leave the volume on. I click all the switches and I always forget to do that one. We got to talk about the Big 12 inserted itself into OU Texas Part 2. This is the first time OU and Texas have played twice in the same season since 1903. We also got a little recruiting to talk about. We also got to talk a little bit about Kyler and Tua. But first, we got to do the read, and we're going to do two today. One of which is what we've been doing for the last few weeks. We have a dedicated sponsor in thefanstop.com. So, with Christmas just around the corner, why don't you eliminate the dreaded "I don't know what they like" question for that someone? Sign up for the OU Sooners T-Shirt of the Month Club and start receiving a new and unique T-shirt delivered right to your front door. With free shipping in both standard and premium packages, you are sure to be a hit with the gift that keeps on giving from thefanstop.com. Use promo code RJ Young, that is my name, all caps, no periods, one word, to receive 10% off your first order. I'm a big fan. I got T-shirts coming. And, you know, when the winter months get here, they give you like long sleeves and hoodies to go along with it. And with that 10%, you essentially get a free shirt. And everybody knows that I'm big into shirts and I'm also big into jackets. This was too awesome for me to pass up, right? So I had to go get it. One other thing that I want to get into, which is specific to this channel community, all right? So we've been doing this for about 14, 15 months now. We're not even 18 months old. We can barely walk. And yet, the way that this channel has just kind of taken off, right, with closing in on 12,000 subscribers, I'm always touched by how important this channel is to a lot of different people. And I hear from them, and I continue to want to hear from them through Twitter, through Facebook, through here, and through letters. So first, I want to say to David Barnes, who's watching, thank you for your very heartfelt note. I read it. I don't want to share any of the personal details because that's a story that you told me, but I sincerely appreciate it. And yes, I am still seeing a therapist for depression, and we're working on it. Second one comes from Jim Papa, for which I want to, holy crap, Robert Lane with the $50 super chat, beat Texas Horns down Wimps. So I want to talk about Jim Papa, who is from New Hampshire, and he reached out to me via the snail mail, for which if you guys just scroll through the bottom of the description, you can find a P.O. box for where I should check more often because he sent me this note nearly a month ago. And I'm going to read it out loud because I think that it's important for everybody to know and understand. So, RJ, I'll try to make this short and simple. And I want to say that this is from November 19th, and that's going to make a lot of people just kind of, when they hear this. I'll try to make this short and simple. I have been a Sooner fan since 1971. It's 47 years. Jack Mildren, Greg Pruitt, and Ray Sugar Bear Hamilton. Wow. I came upon your podcast in July. I love the opening with your mom. I laugh my expletive off every time. I don't like lurking. Use the, and he sent money to us for the channel for equipment for which we're going to use, and we're very thankful. Thank you, Jim. Better days will come for our defense, but sweet God, baby Jesus, it is so difficult to watch. Kyler should get the Heisman. There is something wrong if he doesn't. True story. Video coming about that tomorrow. We will win in Morgantown. Check that out. My gut feeling tells me the D will respond. Call me crazy. He wrote that November 19th, man. Come on. You got 12 points out of defense. You don't get a defense responding. You don't win the game. Check out Jim being Nostradamus here. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Our D needs to hear this. He told me to stay safe and give my mom a hug. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. So that is the kind of stuff that is happening around this channel because you guys care, honestly, about what it is I have to say and the way that I deliver it. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that because this is a rough week for me. And what I have done since rough weeks have started for me is make stuff. And you might notice that I have taken a lot more time to make thumbnails this week because it's OU Texas Part 2. And this is my Survivor Series. This is my Royal Rumble. This is my SummerSlam. This is my roll to WrestleMania. I love it. There's championship belts all over the place. I've said ladder match repeatedly. I'm in love with this. This is what I live for. I love college football, and I love this time of year. It's ring season. But more than that, you've seen me make more than one video a day. And I don't know that I'm going to keep that up. I just know that the response has been outstanding and great and awesome. And you're helping me as much as you think that I'm helping you just by consuming the stuff that I make, which is what I care most about. I create stuff. I make stuff. I'm a writer. I'm an artist. Over the last 15 or so months, I have become a TV dude and a radio dude, and I've learned how to do this all on the fly, and you've been with me every step of the way with the journey. I would encourage you to go check out last year's thumbnail for the Big 12 Championship, the preview show. You'll see that it's actually kind of garbage, like a lot of those thumbnails were then, but I didn't know that because I thought that they were great. And then you look at today's thumbnail, you can see how far I've come, and I'm just getting reps. I've gotten better at this as I continue to do it, and you guys suffer my mistakes. You suffered horrible audio. You've suffered bad live streams that failed, bad videos that you think are awesome. You've seen my mistakes, and I sincerely appreciate all of that. Folks like Robert Lane donating over to the channel, man, repeatedly. Brandon Watt. Dieter Cross is coming in huge for us, and I'll be able to share how soon. And shout out to Dieter, man. He's a tough dude. He's a really tough dude. And in the little bit that I've got to know about him, I sincerely appreciate him. But other folks, like Terry Beckham, who's and Terry Beckham and Byrne, two folks that picked out very early when I didn't know what I was doing, that they thought that there was something special here, and they chose to believe in me, just like everybody else here. And it's a lot of people to thank, and it's a time to be thankful. So with that, let's talk some football. Enough RJ being sad and whatnot. Jason Murphy, RJ, you're the man. My wife gives me hell for watching your videos. She laughs, but love it. I appreciate that. Boomer Sooner, dog. So first thing I want to talk about is this Horns Down stuff, for which there's a video that's going to premiere at 7 o'clock tonight. That's immediately following the live stream. See how I did that? You had a video at 5. You got the live stream at 6. You got another video at 7. I have been crushing them. I'm just, because they make me feel better. But why is the Big 12 continuing to put its foot where it shouldn't? What we got? Gerald Mosley. Love to take RJ. You're like a brother from another mother. I appreciate that, Gerald. Appreciate that. The Big 12 stepped in it twice, right? First one was they gave 8,000 tickets apiece to OU and Texas for Jerry World, which is just wrong. It's dumb. You have enormous fan bases that are all in on this game. You hold close to 80,000, no, more than 80,000 at Owen Field. I don't know what DKR is, but it's more than 8,000. Cameron Indoor holds 7, and that's for Duke. Why would you only give $8K a piece? I know why. You want to sell the tickets yourself, and you want to make money off the only game you can sell. Because OU and Texas run this conference, this podunk conference that Oklahoma needs to get out of. I got my next tweak, but I'm going to get to that after Tristan. What do you got? Hey, RJ, love the channel. Just got one question for you. What's your prediction, the defense-wise this week? Worse or better than the first game against Texas? I think it's going to be better. I think it's going to look a lot like West Virginia. I think they're going to give a ton through the air. Just, if you watch the scheme video I made about how West Virginia picked apart Oklahoma secondary, you can see, yeah, the safeties played badly, but there was no defense for what Jake Spavital was throwing. Just wasn't. And I would encourage you to go check that out. But I can easily see a turnover, 2, and a touchdown out of the defense, right? Because if you get Sam Ehlinger, you can knock the ball out of his hands. Trey Watson can put the ball on the ground. Keontae Ingram can put the ball on the ground. The matchup that they're going to exploit, that everybody knows that they're going to exploit, that's real bad for Oklahoma, it's defensive backs against Colin Johnson and LJ Humphrey. 2 trees at wide receiver for Texas who are immensely strong. So, gonna need some help there. Excuse me. So, that's what I see, dog. My next take about the Big 12, right? Big 12 conference is after the debacle of folks not being able to buy tickets from Oklahoma, and then the whole allotment system and the point system. For those of you that don't know, because if you're not a season ticket holder, you probably don't know, the University of Oklahoma, like a lot of schools, has a point system in place where if you donate so much money over time, you accumulate points, and accumulating points gives you first dibs on seats, so forth, so on. And that particularly matters in postseason competition when they're selling tickets that are limited, like this one, which means that the higher the points you had, the more opportunities you had to get your ticket to the Big 12 title game. Now, this is garbage for two reasons. One, the tax code basically changed the way that folks feel about giving their donation to Oklahoma, which gives them more points. And there was a rumor that a $3,000 donation this year, $3,000, didn't even get you a shot at the tickets this year, which, again, is a travesty. It's not Oklahoma's fault. It's the Big 12 Conference's fault. And now, with the horns down BS, what do we have? We got the Big 12 Conference taking the fun out of our football game. The football game Oklahoma and Texas put together, not the Big 12 Conference. And that's another reason for which nobody is fond of this league, man. Look, you had the horns down controversy with West Virginia and Texas, which cost West Virginia a starting tackle and got them unnecessary penalties in a game that they could have lost had those penalties gone worse, right? If they get called more for it. So now you got the Big 12 Conference telling Lincoln Riley, yo, if your boys do it, probably going to throw a flag. To which the Big 12 Conference put out a tweet earlier today trying to backtrack and saying it's up to the officials. It's to their discretion about whether or not the horns down was used in a taunting manner, because that's what the rule is. The rule is taunting. Except the Big 12 referees are pretty bad at the jobs to begin with. And if you're leaving it up to them as to their discretion, yo, man, that's like pass interference. They mess that up all the time. See Parnell Motley in Texas Tech. I mean, I can't wait for a referee to throw a flag when one of these boys throws the horns down, because there's a lot of reasons for which I think you could do it. You could be up by 40 points and just decide to take the penalty because it wouldn't matter, right? Or you could just say, yo, I was really it's a jump man. It's a jump man. You know, that's what we're doing. It's a jump man. That won't wash. But you get the point here. It's stupid that you have to think about this out loud. It's really bad that the Big 12 Conference would insert itself in the first place, because short of a gesture that is going to make I'm trying to think of a really offensive gesture that we don't want in the game. We've decided that throat slashes are not what you want in the game because those denote, hurting people. All right, I can live with that. Fine. Horns down, who's that hurting? Texas fans. Tom Herman. Sam Ehlinger. This is a myth that was perpetuated by Mac Brown to say, it's disrespectful. Yo, man, it's disrespectful not to take your hat off when the national anthem is being sung. You get frowned upon by some people, but it is not the kind of thing people are going to throw a flag about. I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal. And I think as long as Texas Longhorns can throw up horns up, other folks should be able to throw up horns down, right? And you're the University of Texas. Nobody likes you. The only people that like you went to Texas. That's it. A&M fans don't like you. Baylor fans don't like you. TCU fans don't like you. Houston fans don't like you. Texas State fans don't like you. And OU fans sure don't like you. Deal with it. Get good, son. Right? Because that's what we're arguing about here. If you were good, this wouldn't be a big deal. If you were good, you wouldn't try to pick this as a fight. Don't lose 3 games. How about that? How about you start there? You go undefeated before you start talking noise about what other people are doing. You know how many people hate Alabama? You think it bothers Nick Saban? No. He counts rings. You do not, Texas. Sit down. Let me see. What else we got in here? I'm going to take a question before I get to this next take about recruiting. So, I'm looking. I really got to stop reading the chat like I read the chat. Who else we got in here? Looking for something with a question mark. By the way, if you drop a super chat, I try to get to it as soon as I can. I've been known to miss super chat before, especially the ones that don't stick out like billboards for a long time, so bear that in mind. Let's see. Well, Hook'em fans in here. All right. Cool. I mean, I made the hashtag to get them in here, so yeah. Oh, man, y'all are having some intense discussion about, wow. Check out the chat, man. Lloyd Griffith says, heard on the Sports Animal Day, they said Coach Patterson, TCU, said, good luck. You're going to need it. It's obviously he's picking OU. Well, Lloyd, I'm going to riff on that for a second. What had happened was Gary Patterson beat Oklahoma State and was asked about what he thinks of Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12 title game. And he said some really cool things. First one is, yo, man, I played Oklahoma twice last year when they had Baker Mayfield. I ain't like it. I ain't like it one bit. And I can tell you right now, with Kyler Murray, I wouldn't want to play him twice because it's recess and it's full blast. Yeah, he's picking Oklahoma. And particularly, Gary Patterson gets it about the Big 12. He gets that you should be rooting for Oklahoma because Oklahoma has the best opportunity to get into the college football playoff, and you want to be able to sell that as a conference, let alone as a school, because playing against a team that makes it in the college football playoff, believe it or not, is really great when it comes to recruiting, which is why when other Big 12 teams poo-poo it, it's a bad look because at that point, everybody should be rooting for the best team in the conference to do well. Plus, Gary Patterson knows from defense, which means he's probably the best student of an offense that we have in this conference outside of Lincoln. Why? Because he has to try to stop it every year, and this is a man who made his bones off of stopping offenses with his vaunted 4.25. And I watched the game like he watched the game at TCU. And they had Kyler Murray dead to rights on about 5 or 6 plays, and he toyed with him. You know, he ran out of stuff. He made plays. It's just Gary Patterson was getting sweaty over there trying to do his job of call the defense, and he would know that he had a good call. He know that he had Lincoln Riley beat, and because we have Kyler Murray and you don't, Kyler Murray made a play, you know? And it's just, you throw in Kennedy Brooks, who's averaging 9.6 yards per carry. He's going to go over 1,000 against Texas with 7 more yards on just 103 attempts, man. And then you throw in the wide receivers in Hollywood and CD and what you got at slot in Calcaterra and Lee Morris. And then this offensive line, which is ridiculous. Yeah. Not a whole lot of people think that Texas is going to hold Oklahoma to under 50. But the point is, can Oklahoma outscore Texas? Because we know the defense is going to have to come up with something magical to give Oklahoma an edge in this game. Hey, Polar Bear with $20 super chat. I appreciate that, fam. So, Gary Patterson has been a huge Lincoln Riley fan for a long time. Actually, I always count the coaches who give props to Lincoln when they go to like the Big 12 media days. And Gary Patterson was one of those guys who was like, you know, Lincoln's one of the classiest guys in this conference, and he's got the best team in this conference. Everybody knows that the Big 12 title road runs through Norman. And I thought that that was really cool of him to say, and not something that, say, a guy like Mike Gundy would say, though he should be saying it from the mountaintops, because people care about Oklahoma State because Oklahoma is good, not the other way around. Same thing with Tom Herman and his some elite players. You know, I just, ugh. Any update on Sermon? Nothing you don't already know, dog. Like, he's going to play. It's about how much he's going to play. And Kennedy Brooks is the #1 tailback right now, so we'll see. Let's see. AZ with the $5 super chat. Do you think the fans of college football rather watch a defense 9-7 game or an offensive explosive game 56-49? I think college football purist, like my best friend Ron, that 9-7 is in his marrow. That's in his soul. He wants to see defenses dominate. That is what he is here for. He also played defensive tackle, right? You know, I have a lineman soul, but I'm a skill position player, right? And I want to see points scored. And it's easier to follow if you're a casual fan, because casual fans aren't in it for scheme. You know, they're not in it to watch how one coordinator is counting another coordinator in a chess match. They want to see Kyler Murray put up 6 touchdowns. They want to see Tua Tagovailoa throw a 70-yard bomb. You know, they want to see Jerry Jeudy make that catch. They want to see Hollywood Brown shake 6 people. Yeah, I think it's better for the game that there are points scored. Just see the Chiefs-Rams game. But you're still going to have those games where defenses dominate. It's just offenses seem to be out in front right now, and somebody's going to figure it out. Somebody's going to figure out a system for which is reliable to stop not spread teams, but teams that just know how to use space, because that's what the game is now, is can you defend space, right? And you heard Mike Stoops yelling about it in his Dusty Dvorak interview post his firing, which was, yo, man, it's real hard because the game is tilted to offenses. But I watched Bama blank LSU and blank Mississippi State, so that doesn't follow for me. I'm watching Brent Venables stymie everybody, so that doesn't follow to me. I'm watching Mel Tucker and Kirby Smart stymie folks at Georgia, not name Oklahoma, so that doesn't follow to me. You know, I think somebody's going to get it figured out pretty soon. But it starts with, as we all know, defensive linemen. Clemson has a bunch of elite defensive linemen. Oklahoma is still looking for a dude for which can absolutely dominate the edge on defensive line. Still look for a dude that can absolutely take away the other team's number one wide receiver. So we'll see. You know, Texas has more national championships than Oklahoma. No, they don't. Texas has 4. Oklahoma has 7. What are you talking about? No, man. Your facts need finding. Stop that. Okay? No more nonsense like that. Chill. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot about OU secondary that we could say was bad. I mean, you're not making news by saying they ain't good. Looking for something with a, let's say looking for something for a question mark. I'm looking for a good question is what I'm looking for. What do you think of Kyler Murray's comments about Sam and the whole situation? He didn't have comments about Sam. He said no comment. I think you're trying to ensue something there, imply something there. Nah, dog. He has nothing to say. He said no comment. Now he laughed about it, right? So we all laugh about Sam Hard G. Ellinger. I do, at least. The dude takes a concussion to the head. That's all she wrote. You know, we knew that coming into the season. I'll say he's played well. You know, since throwing those picks against Maryland, lost to Maryland. He's been all right. He ain't the Big 12's best by any means, though. So come up off that. I mean, it goes Kyler. It goes Will Grier. It goes Brock Purdy. Maybe Sam Ellinger. Charlie Brewer might fight you. That's what I think about Sam Ellinger. Forget what Kyler thinks. Kyler's a better quarterback. So, yeah, him having no comment. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I see that. What do you expect? You expect somebody you expect an Oklahoma player to pay respect to a Texas player? Nah, dog. We don't expect Texas players to pay respect to Oklahoma players either. That's how it is. I'll say this, though. The co-coach of the year, Lincoln Riley. Where's Tom Herman on that list? It's Matt Campbell, it's Lincoln Riley. Who's the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year? Be Kyler Murray. I mean, come on. You know what time it is. Talk about Texas defense. Don't start arguments about the Texas offense with an Oklahoma fan because you're going to lose. You know, you're just going to lose. Let's see, what else we got in here? If Pitt beats Clemson this week, Pitt ain't going to beat Clemson, dog. It's a nice, I see what you're saying there, because you're saying if Pitt beats Clemson, do they still get in? Yeah, they do. Alabama and Clemson could lose their conference championship games this year, and they still get into the playoff because they're just that good, according to the committee. I want a 16-team playoff, but it seems like the next step is an 8-team playoff. Fine. I just want something that gets UCF in so they can get ousted in the first round. We can put an end to this nonsense about unclaimed and fake national championships, because they're going to win another one this year if they beat Memphis. You know, I mean, I say that. They're going to have to beat a power conference team in like the Fiesta Bowl. So there's that. But I would love to see an 8-team playoff just to shut up all the teams that think that they should be in. Let Ohio State in. Let Michigan in. This would make room for the college football playoffs love affair with LSU and get them in. Come on, just let them all in. Let the scoreboard decide, as opposed to a bunch of people in a room eating lunch. I could do without that, man. Hey, Deep Barrett, you're in timeout. Come on, man. And you might be new to the channel, but the rules are the same. If you're going to use profanity and you're going to just yell, I'm going to put you in timeout. That's how this works. Keep it clean. Talk your noise. Do it without profanity. It shouldn't be that hard. I feel like sometimes I'm running a first graders class here. Come on. UCF cannot play with the big boys. I think UCF would mollywop Notre Dame. I really do. I think they would mollywop Notre Dame. Notre Dame is UCF in different clothes. They're just as soft. Pitt should have beat them. That Stanford win looks terrible. That Michigan win looks real bad. Nah, man. USC nearly had them dead to rights, and USC's 5-7. Get out of here. UCF would beat the bricks off of Notre Dame. Hey, Doc Winston with the thumbnail game has been strong. I appreciate that. I was talking about that to start the show, dog. Like, it takes a lot more time. That's for serious. But it's been well worth it, and I'm getting better. Getting better. I'm working on it. So I appreciate that, Doc. Doc pays attention to the details, by the way. Doc's one of my favorite commenters on the channel because, like, this dude he saw before I saw that we got to 1 million views on the YouTube channel. Also, earlier last week, we went over 2 million views on the channel. Like, ridiculous number. So, I mean, I appreciate it. Let's see. Does Buki start Saturday? Yeah, he does. You don't really have anybody else. You got him and Pat Fields. You know? You can start Pat Fields, but you're going to have to play Buki because that's a lot of snaps. You know? So I would start Buki because I think he's actually the best option you have at nickel. And that's one of the reasons I made the video today is to try to explain what's going on with that dude. You know? It's a guy who came up playing corner. He's playing safety now. You know? And I know a lot of folks want to get after him because he's short or they think he's slow. But just go watch the video. And after you watch the video, you tell me how you would have defended any of the stuff that he saw. Because it wasn't just him getting burnt. It was also Robert Barnes. It was also Caleb Kelly. It was also Delarian Turner-Yell. Y'all want to beat up on him because he's got 5 stars next to his name. I'm not here for that. Okay? I believe in the players. I will always believe in the players. I think coaches need to do a better job with their players. Until a player actually shows that they don't want to be here, they don't want to do it, then okay, yeah, talk noise. Fine. That rarely happens because players are they're at the whim of coaches for the most part. You know, I mean, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I remember getting to kindergarten or first grade or summer camp and getting the talk. The talk was, I don't care that you are going to call your mommy or your daddy because you don't feel that it's fair here. I'm your mama. I'm your daddy. That was the conversation that was had for all these kids at every level. You know, used to hear stories about Bob Stoops saying that. I don't want to get a phone call from your parents because you're not playing. That puts you in a rock and hard place as a player, right? Because you might think that you're being played out of position or you're not getting opportunities to succeed. It ain't up to you. It's up to coaches. So you got to find a way. You know, and sometimes that happens. Curtis Bolton found a way. He flat out beat Caleb Kelly for a job. Sometimes it doesn't, and Ricky DeBerry transfers. See what I'm saying? Let's see, what else we got in here? Who is the leading candidate for D coordinator? Well, I mean, Lincoln Riley doesn't have one publicly, but if you check the OU Insider board, you'll see that there are a few names being kicked around. I would tell you to look at the state of Alabama. Or just dig through my channel a little bit. Come on, man. Do some homework. Let's see. Yeah, OU would smoke ND. OU did smoke ND. After ND smoked OU. And then promptly went into the 2012 title game and got smoked by Bama. I hate arguing with Golden Domers because I don't know that there is a school. There are 2 schools for which I sincerely don't care for, mostly because of the way that they're made up and the way that they think about themselves as fans. It's Michigan and Notre Dame, okay? Texas is in a whole different category, but Michigan and Notre Dame fans, I just can't get with y'all. You know, it's just an elitist attitude up there, and I hate it. You know, I read this book called Touchdown Jesus talking about the Subway alumni and how Notre Dame's following is and the endowment. Come on, man. Y'all don't even take JUCO transfers. Y'all don't even give second chances. Get out of here. Michigan and Notre Dame fans, just the worst. At least some Texas fans will say it with their chest. Let's see, is this Kerry Cook's last season at OU? Probably could be. Probably could be. If you look at the way the defensive backs have developed, if you look at the NFL talent that he has brought in, that he has coached, it very well could be, right? And I would assume that any defensive coordinator who's taken over probably is going to have a lot to say about the secondary. That said, Kerry Cooks is the guy that came from Notre Dame when Notre Dame was thought to be really good. You know who's calling the plays over there? Bob Diaco. You know? But I know a lot of folks that love Kerry Cooks from a recruiting standpoint, and he's actually real good at that. You look at some of the guys that he's brought into this 2019 class, guys that he's picked out for the 2020 class, you got to be happy about that. It's about developing. That's the question. Can they be developed? What do we got in here? Yeah, Jeremiah Criddle did decommit today, and I have a note up about that on OUinsider.com. You might want to take a look at that. RJ, who gets first interception or sack on Saturday? I don't know, dog. Curtis Bolton probably going to get there for a sack. Interception, Parnell Motley. He's been the only reliable ball hawk outside it. Yeah, it's just been him. I mean, Robert Barnes has one, but like Parnell Motley's going to be your best opportunity to pick off a pass this weekend. And I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear that. Let's see. That jacket is fire. Hey, ain't it though? Ain't it? I like it. I like it. Wouldn't believe where I got this. And I'm going to keep it 100 and say, I don't tell anybody where I get my clothes because a lot of people think that means I'm endorsing a company, and I'm not. But I am endorsing this company, fanstop.com. Read the bottom line. Use the promo code. Matter of fact, let's do the read. With Christmas just around the corner, why don't you eliminate the dreaded I don't know what they like question for that special someone? Sign up for the OU Sooners T-Shirt of the Month Club and start receiving a new and unique design delivered right to your front door. With free shipping and both standard and premium packages, you are sure to be a hit with a gift that keeps on giving. From thefanstop.com. Use the promo code RJ Young. That is my name. All caps, no periods, to receive 10% off your first order. It's thefanstop.com. Again, use the promo code RJ Young, 10% off. And that's like monthly, so you get a free t-shirt. And it's getting cold, so you might get some long sleeves, some hoodies in there. I got a subscription. I'm happy about it. Let's see. Have you heard any updates on Justin Broyles? I wouldn't expect to see him because he was in concussion protocol, and I don't expect him to play because he didn't play on Friday, but it could happen. Could happen. I've been wrong before. I just wouldn't expect it. Dan Moore, $5 super chat. What you got? Dogs beat Bama in a shootout. Tua goes nuts, wins the Heisman. SEC shenanigans at its best. Just saying. Horns down. Yeah, I got a video going up about that, Dan. It's a lot of people that feel like you do. Michael Rios, what you got? Love the trash talk. Horns fans, but got the book and sub to the channel. Hey, that's my book. It's called Let It Bang. Young Black Man's Odyssey into Guns. Also, I got some media coming out. I was on a podcast today with my buddy Tommy Tomlinson. His podcast is called Southbound. I enjoy talking with him. He's a Georgia fan. I'm an Oklahoma fan. We rapped about it for about 5-10 minutes. It's fun. Also, I got a piece coming out, I think, in NBC about some, gun stuff. And I got a piece coming out in New York Post about some gun stuff. And some other stuff, but I'll clue you in, Love the content. Lately, keep up the great work. Who gets better? Who gets the better 2019 class, Texas or OU? I think it would be Oklahoma, depending on how they close out, right? Because the thing to keep in mind about Oklahoma, especially with the decommits even before, is that you still had about 7 commitments you could pick up to put into this class, right? So what you're getting is quality. You're getting a lot of quality in this class. You got a 5-star quarterback, a 5-star wide receiver. Trajan Bridges is in line for a 5th star from 24/7. He's got a 5th star from Rivals. You've got a outstanding running back in Marcus Major. You've got an offensive line that could be excellent, right? When EJ Ndomo-Gar, Stacey Wilkins, Marcus Alexander. I mean, you're getting pretty good. And on that defensive line, you got some studs coming in. Joseph Wette, Marcus Hicks, right? And Derek Green. And particularly secondary, you get a couple safeties in a corner, you're going to be pretty good, right? So I think Oklahoma is in line to have a better class. It's just they're going to have to do it post-early signing day. You're going to have to do it on National Signing Day, which we know Oklahoma can do because they picked up Buki after the first of the year, picked up Deshaun White's silent commit after the first of the year, picked up Michael Thompson the day of signing day, right? And that's 4-star defensive tackle who blew out his ACL in the summer. Get him back. Be pretty good. Let's see. What else got in here? First play on defense should be roughing the passer. Let Sam know we're here to burn his house down. That's an old school play, and I don't know that we can get away with it. I had a coach in high school. Play quarterback, running back, linebacker. Outside linebacker. But my favorite coach was Coach Ruff. Coach Ruff played defensive line in high school, college. I think he plays the pro ball too. But Coach Ruff used to have an intimidation move that he taught us that we never had the moxie to pull off, which was as soon as the quarterback got underneath the center and started his cadence, Coach Ruff fired off the line, hit the mic, didn't even try, put his forearm into the offensive lineman's throat and tuned him all the way up. Personal foul, 15-yard penalty, first down. But for the rest of the game, those linemen were terrified of Coach Ruff. So, yeah, maybe it could work. I doubt it, but it could work. And if we got somebody on the line or in the linebacker core who's got enough moxie to do that on the first play, to just storm past the offensive line and just tune up Sam Ehlinger and not just catch the personal foul, but probably get tossed from the game, it could be fun. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could be fun. Whoa, Bill Beach, $20 super chat. What you got? Just got in. Who did we lose? Is this because we have bigger targets coming in? Lost R.J. Henderson, who I'll talk about again tomorrow's video, in the 2019 class, right? He's reopened his commitment. Some folks are saying grades. Some folks are saying, RJ just wanted to leave. Whatever it is, I don't think RJ is going to recommit. I think he's done with Oklahoma. However, that does make room for a 2019 wide receiver, and with the one on everybody's lips is Jaden Hazelwood. I'd be shocked if he doesn't commit to Miami at this point, but the three in the running you got to believe are Miami, Georgia, and Oklahoma because of the ties to OU, and that could make your offensive spread game just ridiculous. You'd have Trajan Bridges and Theo on one side, Jaden Hazelwood on the other, Spencer Rattler quarterback, Austin Stogner in the slot. Whew. That's sexy to think about, right? But you also should take a look at Brandon Drum has this note on 24/7, OUinsider.com, about a College of the Canyons wideout you're going to want to know about. Hollywood Brown came out of the College of the Canyons. That's why that's a really big deal. So could be in line for bigger commits, but just cool your jets on that. Let Lincoln Riley and the staff do that thing that they do. So, but it's a good question, Bill. Let's see what else we got in here. Cliff Johnson, what are your thoughts on Cliff Kingsbury getting pushed off the cliff at Texas Tech? Was it the right decision for their program? I think so. Nothing about what Cliff was doing led you to believe that they were going to get intensely better next year. And after years of, 7-win seasons, 5-win seasons, something had to give. We all know that Cliff Kingsbury is a gifted offensive coordinator and play caller. Perhaps he's just not great at hiring the best guy to get his defense, to play defense. Because for a long time, this Texas Tech team looked a lot like Oklahoma, which was they could score a lot of points, couldn't defend anybody, right? Hence the criticism that Lincoln Riley gets for being Texas Tech North, when really Texas Tech is Oklahoma South because we gave them Mike Leach. So keep it 100 on that front. But I also think it's unfair because Texas Tech is a very tough, it's a very tough place to recruit to, even offensively. But I think, they want to get in a guy that knows how to coach defense. Matt Wells is the latest name that's being tossed around, Utah State head coach, which is, I wouldn't crown him king, but I'm not a Red Raider, so I don't really care. Carry on. I thought that they would be right to try to throw a piggy bank at Brent Venables and make him say no, because at least you get to tell everybody we tried to get him and he said no. I also think that they should probably take a look at Texas wide receiver coach Drew Maringer. I think that guy is next, but, we'll see what Tech does, and something tells me Kirby Hocutt's going to make a mess of this. It just follows. But what should happen is Les Miles should be on the phone to Cliff Kingsbury trying to get him to Lawrence. Because you put Les Miles and Cliff Kingsbury on the same ticket, you got a winner in Kansas in 2020. I truly believe that. See, do you think Oklahoma could beat Bama? Yeah, I made that video. Go check it out. Let's see what else we got in here. Greg Wesley, our day. Do you think Les Miles will turn Kansas around? Yeah, I do, actually, because Les can recruit. And I think if he hires an offensive genius, he'll be able to recruit in a hurry. What holds Kansas back isn't necessarily that it's Kansas football. It's that they were put in a hole with Mangino, right? I mean, I make a joke about how Kansas is ranked 179th in 24/7's composite, and there are only 130 FBS teams because they only got one 2019 commit. And a lot of that is because they just don't have the scholarships, right? And there was a really good piece in The Athletic months ago by, I forget who exactly, because it wasn't Kersey. Is a guy that used to cover Texas for ESPN. I forget his name. But it's a really good piece basically outlining what David Beatty didn't want to say out loud, which is a lot of the kids that end up there end up paying for like a semester of school just because they can't make it go. And they're doing something like blue shirting people, which is, it's just been a tough thing to turn around because you just don't have the scholarships to give. That said, I'm sure Jeff Long has been working on that, and Les Miles knows what he's in for. So it's a big turnaround just from a logistic standpoint, not from an optics standpoint. Optics being Kansas football. I think they'll be okay there. Let's see. What else you got in here? Yeah, people have been saying that Oklahoma should go to the SEC since the first conference realignment. And it looked closer to Oklahoma going to the Pac-12 than it did in the SEC. I just don't see it because they don't have enough money, frankly. The Big 12 is the Big 12 because the 10 members get a lot of money. And I don't think they want to open it up to anybody else. And I don't think Oklahoma's keen to go to a conference where they got, 14 teams? 12 teams? They're not going to get as much. You're going to ask Oklahoma to take less money to be in a better conference. And I don't think Oklahoma's going to do that because they've proven, like they're about to prove on Saturday, that they can get to the college football playoff in the Big 12. They don't really need the SEC. It's just there's a lot of headaches that come with the Big 12 conference, like this horns down stuff, like the bad officiating, like having to carry the conference, not like getting our due, like the 11 a.m. kickoffs that everybody hates. So you're talking about, is the money worth all the grief that you get from the Big 12? And I think Joe Constiglione says absolutely, because he's not actually keen on spending a lot of money. You know, see Trace Atkins for the spring game. Trace Atkins, Drake. Who do you pick? I know there's some folks that dig on Trace Atkins, and yo, man, I like Rough and Ready and Swing Batter Swing and Honky Tonk Badonk Donk as much as the next Oklahoman. But I would much rather have Drake because spring games now are about recruiting. You cannot recruit a kid from California with Trace Atkins. It ain't happening. You know, and I think that's a thing that Joe Castiglione doesn't really care about. I think he cares about fans. And a lot of fans pay a lot of money. A lot of the fans are over 40. Hence the bad music at games. And, you know, when millennials take over the world, it'll be our bad music at games. You're talking about recruiting versus the fan experience. And the fan experience is for the Gen Xer population. And that's what Joe C is most focused on. And part of that is I don't want to spend any money. I don't want to spend any money where I don't have to spend any money. You know, the stadium renovations ended up going through because a lot of people who are much older than millennials and kids who are being recruited put up a lot of money to get the stadium renovated. Follow the money. Follow the money. You know? Let me see. When the contract expires, realignment is going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen, but I think Oklahoma's not going anywhere. You know, I think there'll be a huge push to get Arkansas or Nebraska or even BYU into the conference, but the beer thing severely limits you at BYU because everybody is going to be selling beer in their stadium, save, you know, folks that have decided not to do that on religious or moral standards, which is fine, except don't expect to get into a conference like the Big 12 with that as your, you know, your stance. To that end, it's another reason why I don't think Notre Dame should be in the college football playoffs because they're not a part of any conference. They don't have to share any of the money. They don't have to play for a conference championship ever. You know, they play this coast-to-coast schedule and they try to tell people that we play all over everywhere and we play anybody. No, you don't. You play USC. You play Vatech. You play Stanford. You schedule Michigan. Good for you. Oklahoma does that every year and wins a Big 12 championship. Sit down. You know, Domers, get off your high horse and join a conference. Otherwise, Take what we give you and be happy about it. You know, where we go. If OU gets in the Final Four, where are the semifinal games being held? In your opinion, if we were getting... I missed it, dog. I'm sorry. Lane, what you got? OU won't go anywhere unless Texas goes. Nah. Negative. 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 Texas makes a lot of money. Oklahoma makes a lot of money too. You can separate the two. See OU Nebraska. Oklahoma and Nebraska is a bigger rivalry than Oklahoma and Texas. There. I said it. You know? And more to the point, Oklahoma fans have tremendous respect for Nebraska and Nebraska fans. It's one of the reasons we're all hype about the 2020-2021 collision. Or is it 2021-2022? Anyway, what's going to happen in about 5-6 years? Yeah. 4 years. 3 years. It's coming. OU Nebraska. I'm so excited about OU Nebraska. Oklahoma, Texas. I just hate Texas. Most people hate Texas. But I would much rather have Nebraska follow Oklahoma than Texas. Texas needs Oklahoma, not the other way around. Who's on y'all's schedule? USC? Okay. Have fun with that. You know? Man. Oklahoma needs somebody like Notre Dame needs somebody. It could be independent. It just isn't. You know, there's more benefits to being a part of a conference than there are negatives. And Notre Dame, you get to hide behind money. Good for them. You know? Let's see. Do you think that if Kyler Murray would have played against Georgia, we would have won? No, because the defense still gave up 48. No, I don't. I don't think it's got anything to do with the offense. Honestly, I don't. I think it had everything to do with three-man fronts against the two best running backs in college football. And a quarterback who can't pass for 300 yards if you pay him. No. Mike Stoops' game plan is the reason we lost the Rose Bowl. Let's see. Let me see. Bring Ark and Nebraska back. Yeah. That's what I've been saying all along. I would love a 12-team conference with Arkansas and Nebraska. Bring back the Southwest Conference. Kick out Baylor if you want. Ann Richards is the reason they got in the first place. I don't see a problem with that. You know? I live in Nebraska. They don't like me. Not sure if it's because I'm a Sooner fan or something else. It's got to be the Oklahoma thing. And Nebraska's garbage. Like, there's some Nebraska fans in Tulsa that I run into on a regular basis. And, you know, we're cordial. And I just, you know, I congratulate them when they get a win. And I say, you know, better luck next time when they get a loss, which is frequent. But, you know, it's mostly that we're real good. And they want to be real good in the worst way. Because Oklahoma and Nebraska are similar in temperament and in fan base, right? We have to win. We need to win in a way that other teams absolutely don't. That's why we shell out for the games. That's why it means so much here. It's a part of who we are, right? It's baked into being a Sooner in the state of Oklahoma. You know, there was OU football before there was a state. There was OU Texas before there was a state. That matters. That matters tremendously. Greg Wesley, RJ, do you think the OU defense has lost their fire and determination? They look like they don't. Okay, dude, Greg, did you watch the West Virginia game? Did that look like fire and determination to you? I don't know. Does fire and determination get turnovers? Does fire and determination score 12 points? You tell me, dog. Come on now. Think about your question. Just think about your question. Before you post your question, think about your question. You know, you talk about the interviews. I'm looking at play on the field, dog. I don't care what these kids say. It's why the whole Kyler Murray no comment situation is like, have you seen him play? Have you seen Ellinger play? You know, come on. Judge what the kids do on the field before you start talking about their attitudes. You know, let's go. This dude here. Yo, man, you keep saying stuff like that, and I'm going to keep putting you in timeout. Let's see. What else we got in here? Texas will lose to OU by more than 20. Wow, I didn't say that. Bobby said that. Besides the Big 12, which conference championship game piqued your interest the most this weekend? That's an interesting question because they're all pretty bad outside of OU Texas for, what we think is going to be a competitive game. We don't think that Alabama is really going to get hustled by Georgia, but it's possible, and that makes it intriguing, right? I think UCF and Memphis actually is the second best conference championship game because Mackenzie Milton ain't going to play, and Mackenzie Milton is UCF. All of that streak, their wins, is all with him at quarterback. They lost him in last week's game, which I think was, forget who they even played. South Florida, that's who they played. Goodness. Somebody else that doesn't matter. And they got to play Memphis, who has the best running back, not getting mentioned in Darrell Henderson, and try to get a W with a running quarterback as opposed to a guy that can thread the needle like Milton. So Josh Heupel's going to get to earn his paycheck if they win a conference title. And if they win a conference title, they're going to get a New Year's Six Bowl. But that's the one that piques my interest the most because I think Memphis actually has a shot to win that. Bama, Georgia, okay, sure. Big Ten, no. Pac-12, no. They're playing that game on a Saturday night. That's how much people care. I'm more likely to go to a high school football playoff game than watch that game. Let me see. Thoughts on all the Big 12 selections. What I saw was that CeeDee Lamb got snubbed and Curtis Bolton got snubbed. Another reason to not like this conference. Curtis Bolton's got like 120 tackles this year. He doesn't make your all Big 12 teams. Sit down. Excuse me. So, yeah, I'm running down the Khalil Tate to Oklahoma thing. I don't think it's got a lot of dice to it. I really don't. It's like the Kelly Bryant thing. I talked about it. I might talk about it later, But right now, Khalil Tate isn't as great a passer as you would need to be. And I don't think that Oklahoma is, Clemson where you'll run basketball on grass. Or Arkansas for that matter. I mean, I think everybody wants to see somebody come ahead of Austin Kendall, for which I think is unfair. Is Austin Kendall Kyler Murray? Absolutely not. But I believe Lincoln Riley when he says it was a close battle. So if Austin Kendall is close to Kyler Murray, then yeah, start him. Because close to Kyler Murray is really, 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 really good. That's Khalil Tate. Unless you're running Rich Rod's offense, that's a running back playing quarterback. Which is fine. If you're Pat White. I don't see it. How do you feel about the Heisman race between Tua and Kyler? Yeah, I'm going to make that video tomorrow. Let me see. Terry! All this Tua doesn't play fourth quarter argument that also affects the potential interceptions, incompletions, injury, and playing getting beat up and tired. This is true. Also, we can't give Tua credit for what he hasn't done. Because if we were going to do that, we would have said Citadel wouldn't have scored on Bama. They did. We would have said that. Also, I think the thing that Kyler Murray is up against is not actually Tua and his stats and the arguments about an Alabama quarterback playing like a Big 12 quarterback. It's that there's a lot of Heisman voters who don't like that Kyler Murray is a professional baseball player. There are a lot of football purists with Heisman votes who don't want you to be dating football. They want you to be married to it. That's what's going to hold him back. They're not going to want to give the award to a guy who's going to leave the sport altogether in a month's time. That's what it is. It's one, Tua is the best player on the best team. And if you think that doesn't matter, look at Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey was the best player in college football. Derrick Henry won the Heisman because he played for Bama. Tua is going to win the Heisman, I think, right? Because Heisman voters are biased. First, toward the best player on the best team, and second, toward a baseball player who's playing football. It's not going to matter to them that Kyler Murray is historically probably the greatest college football player for a season ever. Ever? Honestly, ever? Look at his passer efficiency rating numbers. Nobody's ever passed for 300 yards a game and rushed for 70 a game. And then if you just watch him play, nobody can do what Kyler Murray can do with a football. So I think that's what we're up against, and it's sad. Jeff Bledsoe, appreciate the $10 Super Chat, fam. Let's see what else got in here. So, Bo Jackson didn't play quarterback. So you can sit down with the Bo Jackson argument. Also, not only did Bo Jackson not play quarterback, Bo Jackson wasn't a great baseball player. He happened to play pro baseball, happened to play in the major leagues, just like Deion Sanders. Neither one of those dudes actually were good at playing the sport of baseball at the major league level. Kyler Murray is almost assured to get there and start as a center fielder. Probably hit over 290. Probably be in the run for a Gold Glove, because if you've ever seen that dude cover ground, you know that there's no ball out of reach. So I don't care about the Bo Jackson argument anymore, because even if Bo Jackson was a better baseball player, and he ain't, he still played running back. So, did Bo Jackson play quarterback? Nah, sit down. Tanner Mordecai has the, okay, we'll talk about that later. I know a lot of folks are already want to talk about the 2019 depth chart. We'll get to it, but right now I just want to beat Texas. How about we do that? RJ, is Murray ready for Stearns' safety blitz? Stearns isn't a great safety blitzer. Stearns is a great ball hawk. Sit down. Pfft. Do you even know your own team? That ain't the dude they bring. Brandon Jones and PJ Locke. Do you know your team? Come on, man. Let's see. Don Ray, I talked about Criddle. Also, you can go check OUinsider.com. If you arrived to the stream late, dude, I'm not going to backtrack. Folks that have been here for the whole time deserve to know what's going on ahead of time. Yeah. Cooper, what you got? Would Gary Patterson leave TCU for OU DC job? I don't think so, dog. I think he'd have to get fired. I don't think that's in the cards. I think Gary Patterson likes being in charge, likes calling shots, likes being the head coach at TCU. Sweaty Gary ain't leaving for anything. It's a nice thought, though, and it would be fun, to have Lincoln Riley as the head coach and offensive coordinator and Gary Patterson running the defense for like $2 million a year. But it ain't going to happen. It's a nice thought, but it ain't going to happen. Let's see. We got time for one more question, and then we're going to get out of here. Well, Will Jerry Jones, what? Lane, Stearns, LMAO, it's BJ Foster. Yeah, it is. Well, I didn't help him. You did. Will Jerry Jones be at the game? I don't think so. Why would he? Why would Jerry Jones be at the game? So he can spend his second round pick on Kyler Murray, who's not going to play football? Nah. Jerry Jones got bigger problems. He got the Saints on Monday night. He got bigger problems than watching the Big 12 championship game. He got to figure out how to stop. He got to figure out how to stop two running backs and Drew Brees, who's completing like 80% of his passes. Nah, man. All right. That is going to do it for me. If you liked the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because I upload a video every single day, twice this week. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. I will see you tomorrow. Deuces.